Let's talk about the NFC West. Let's preview the NFC West. It is, as I continue to say, the deepest end of the NFL pool. Doesn't get a lot of attention because we're out in the West. All of us out here in the Western time zone, we're 3 hours behind everybody. We're supposedly more laid back, even though a lot of people have seemed much angrier around these parts these days. And it's amazing. Les Snead tells me all the time that when he got the job as the GM of the Rams, when they were in St. Louis at the time, people were like congratulating him on his job and also said, great spot for you to land in because it's the simplest division, easiest division in the NFL. And he laughs all the time because how deep is this pool? It is the toughest division in the NFL. All 4 teams, you can make a terrific case, are going to win this division. And Russ was cooking last year, and Seattle looked terrific up to a certain point. And obviously, as we know, that certain point wound up being a loss in the playoffs. And San Francisco was your defending NFC champs, and a lot of people thought they had a great shot, and then the season began, and did they just get bit by the injury bug? Like everything that could take a team down took down San Francisco, which shared a home with Arizona towards the end of the season. In Arizona, Kyler Murray looked like an MVP candidate, and then the Hail Murray happened, and after that, their next step was off a cliff. And the number of times that cliff was named Kingsbury, along with the rest of that team that could not execute in the fourth quarter. It was maddening. And they're better with A.J. Green on offense and J.J. Watt on defense. But the number one addition in this division landed in Los Angeles. And I am of the belief that this team that drafts terrifically well and has 2 of the best defensive players in the game, one on the back end, one on the front end. Aaron Donald on the front end, Jalen Ramsey on the back end. And offensively, man, I wish Cam Akers was healthy. But offensively, what Matthew Stafford is going to do here in Los Angeles, many people are sleeping on because they can't look past the fact he was a Detroit Lion and never proved to be that culture changer in the win column for the Detroit Lions, even with a first ballot Hall of Famer out wide for him for much of that time at Calvin Johnson. Same guy, different place, different coach. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford together, to me, is the difference maker because the 49ers quarterback position right now, to me, isn't as solid. It isn't. And offensively, the 49ers have a terrific coach as well. And I do love Trey Lance. I assume he's going to get in eventually. And I think because Bosa's back and that roster is so very deep, I like the 49ers to finish second. And I like the Seahawks to finish third. And I think all 3 of those teams can make the playoffs. And even crazier, even nuttier, based on how poor the NFC East was last year. And based on the fact that I think the Packers are clearing away the best team in the NFC North this year. And I look at the rest of the NFC South and I'm wondering who is going to maybe challenge the Bucs. With 3 wild card teams, will we ever see every team in the division making the playoffs? Maybe so. If so, this is the division and this is the year. Rams, Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals. Brockman, I give the floor to you.
I don't know if the math adds up with that, Rich, in terms of the 3 teams in one division making the wild card, but I like where your head's at.
Well, because they would beat each other up and invariably not have a good enough record in order to
they would
have the 3 best teams outside of their division leader.
I don't know. It's worth looking into. I'm with you with the Rams. I think they're going to be awesome this year. I think Stafford is going to be an MVP top candidate come year end. I think San Francisco is going to be awesome. I think what we're going to see from them on offense this year, we're just going to be like, wow, like Kyle Shanahan probably is going to be coach of the year, in my opinion. They're going to run all over teams this year. It's going to be awesome. And then every year there's a handful of playoff teams that don't make it the next year, and they take a big step backwards. We saw that San Francisco was in the Super Bowl, and then they were terrible last year. Injuries led to that, but it happens. I just don't love Seattle this year. I don't know why their projected win total is so high. I'm just not feeling them. And I'm also not feeling Cliff Kingsbury on the hot seat. So I want him to still be the coach down there because I like what he's building with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins and that group that they've got there. J.J. Watt in addition. So I just like Arizona to kind of take a step forward and be a good team and win 9 or 10 games. And I'm just not feeling it from Seattle. So that's why I have them flip-flopped from your list.
TJ, what do you have over there?
Rich, you and I are pretty on par here. We have the same anchors, just our middles are a little different. Tough division. I really had a hard time with this, but I'm going with the Rams to win, just like you. I've got the Seahawks coming in second. I think I like the Seahawks obviously a little bit more than Chris. The 49ers, I felt bad putting them at 3. That defense is so hard. But like you said, quarterback, a little bit of an issue, maybe. Yeah. This was tough, but this is what I'm going with. Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, Cardinals. But
we got 3 Rams here, and I imagine you make it 4 since
I'm ditto
you're the
with
season
TJ.
ticket
Same
holder.
thing, TJ. Same thing you got.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't know. The 49ers are going to be a much better team this year, and I think
They're going to be awesome.
Lance is going to get in there and prove to be a very large problem. A very large problem. And I even think the Rams and Niners might even split their season series.
Yeah.
I just think, and that's the reason why I just threw it out there because I think these 3 teams are playoff worthy. They really are, you know. And I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, it came down to it where either the Rams or the Cardinals could make the playoffs, but not both. Unless the Bears had lost. That's entirely possible. I'm trying to remember it because Seattle made it. Niners are way the hell out, though. They almost had 3 teams in last year. Man, it's just such a tough division, and I cannot wait.
They're going to beat each other up.
To see them play each other.
Yeah.
You know, let me take a look at that just in case I'm missing anything for, you know, the Rams play the Seahawks on a Thursday night at Seattle. They play the Niners on a Monday night on November 15th, and they play all 3 of their division games on the road are nationally televised. How about that? At Seattle, week 5 on a Thursday night, short game, the short week game. Those are always nuts. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that where Zerline missed a field goal at the buzzer at the final gun at San Francisco on a Monday night, November 15th. That's week 10, and then week 14 at Arizona on a Monday night. How about that? How about the Niners have only 2 nationally televised games right now, it seems. It looks like it. Nope, they got an NBC game against the Colts and the Packers. My bad. It's just a different delineation here as I'm talking out loud, looking at this stuff.
It's gonna be an awesome division, man.
I'm looking at
Awesome.
I'm looking at the schedules to start too. The Niners start with 2 on the road at the Lions, at the Eagles. I wonder if they're going to stay out east, unless they come back. Then the Packers and the Seahawks. You better start fast, man. This division is incredible. Yeah. It's my favorite division in the NFL. Every Niner fan that's like, "What are you thinking? You all think that the Rams are going to finish? We beat them all the time." I get it. Totally understand you. Totally hear you. Totally figure it out. I remember our first Thursday, the first game between Shanahan and, wasn't it right? Was it the first game between Shanahan and McVay when they were both in their positions? We went there on a Thursday night. Both teams were not very good yet. And that final score was like 48 to 42 or something like that.
Game. Oh, yeah.
Remember that? We were there, and we were looking at each other. We were on this because we did the show from up there.
That's right.
And we looked at each other because I was doing Thursday night football then. We looked at each other like, this matchup is going to be insane for years to come.
Insane.
And you could make the case that both teams now are
full
ready to go.
Yeah. I just think Matt Stafford's
coming
a difference maker. Is just like such a huge difference.
And the same way that we had 2 guests on yesterday saying the Browns have the best team in the AFC North, but they're the Browns. I just can't get past it. Well, it's time to get past it. It's time to get past it. And the same thing out here too with Stafford coming here. I knew it felt different. I knew hearing from the Rams people that how ecstatic they were talking about Stafford arriving here, and that the way that he throws the ball is a much better fit than previous. And the ultimate check mark on the acquisition of Stafford by the Rams came from, what was that? Was that a Ringer piece, or when it was revealed that Kyle Shanahan was grinding tape on Stafford, and he found out the Rams got him, and he's just like, what?
That was a podcast that the Ringer did.
That's right.
Yeah, with
McVay, right?
McVay and Peter Schrager.
Also, guys,
I heard that. I'm like, that's it.
If Matt Stafford's wife doesn't say, hey, let's just take a trip, and they go take that
Cabo.
vacation,
Yeah.
and then he hits up Whitworth, and then that ball gets rolling, is he even ended up with the Rams?
I think Kevin Clark was telling us that story, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was Wickersham. Pardon me. It was Seth Wickersham was telling us that story. But he was telling us the story that Stafford, he'd already made the decision to get out. He was gone, obviously. And he told the Lions, I'm out. And once that happens, I don't think you really need to be on the same vacation in the same city, in the same town. Obviously, that does help that you're sitting there. But, when it all comes down to it, the minute there's blood in the NFL waters, the minute it comes out that somebody's walked into a door to the ownership and said, I want out, and they're like now putting it out there, who wants them? Yeah. The Rams gave up all of their picks and their quarterback.
Matt Stafford is so unappreciated. By age 32, he has better numbers than Drew Brees at age 32. Just think about all that.
The hype is so big, and yet so many people do not believe it. I've never seen anybody more hyped with more disbelief coming into a season than what I'm seeing right here with Stafford. But I'm a believer. I think the Rams win this division. And I'll be there Sunday night, SoFi. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.